hero. There we go. Ophelia picked up on the other side as I say that. So that's a little curious to me because Deadlift, you could argue, is kind of a counter to an Ophelia. Not maybe as hard like a Cthulhu font by any means or something like that, but it helps him, basically. You're helping Deadlift by picking Ophelia, almost. So you got to be a little careful there. But we'll see how they do it. St. Rox did make the point that they have ran it a couple of times here in these qualifiers, so...
They're probably got a plan. I'm not entirely sure. Like with the deadlift, I mean, I've been curious more. I've been thinking about like, can't you just like lane skip? I mean, from the start. I mean, let's say that you're maybe not. Yeah, actually. Let's see. If you're Hellborn and like place deadlift in the safe lane, like can't you just run behind the tier 1 tower and just start with the onslaught straight away and just push? Or doesn't that work?
Well, it doesn't last long. So, like, sure, you could onslaught the tower initially, but I don't know how long. I would be curious about how that pushes up the creep wave. To be honest, how far it goes, because the onslaught it only lasts what, like 5 seconds? Yeah, 5 seconds. So you're not going to get a whole lot of damage on the tower. But you could argue it's like a 5-second lane delay, so that's not bad. It's kind of like a behemoth fissure block, really.
I would have loved to see like just 3 heroes more or less just team up and just run up to the, if you're Hellborn, you run up to the Legion Observatory and you just like, you know, go from there and just cut off the lane from the start, just tank or just run around the creeps a little bit for a few seconds, and then you can use the onslaught to time it when your creep wave actually arrives as well. Just put insane amount of damage on the tower, because I mean the Legion or the other team, the Legion team, they would have to respond, and usually they have 3 heroes down at their safe lane, so it's going to take so long for them to actually rotate over, and that by that time I feel like the tower or the damage is already done.
You're getting crazy here, Snooey.
I am, but I think it would. I mean, I don't know. I would just love to see it at least. Just some kind of crazy, like just Legionnaires we saw like back in the beta when like he was just, you know, with the Demented Shaman and another healer, and they just go crazy. They just cut off the lanes.
I think he is one of those heroes that one day is going to kind of show us like, wow, why didn't we think of this before? Because yeah, Onslaught is one of those abilities that has potential to be pretty damn crazy. Like there's even the idea, obviously we can't see him yet, but Scrap, the most recent hero, it does work with Vorax, his ultimate. So you actually can just really destroy towers very quickly with that Vorax up, and you can turn it against if you happen to be playing against the Scrap, things like that. And it also works with Kongor. I mean, so there are these kind of things that it's going to be interesting to see that one day where it's like, holy crap, that's amazing. So we'll have to wait and see for that day to arrive, but it will be fun once it does. So, wait, will that be this game maybe? Who knows? Who knows? The bands to follow, or the final, overall, we're so stuck on him, but it was more a Deadlift and Prisoner to finish. You mentioned, you talk about Sasuke, a great Prisoner player, so comfort for him. More Access, Ophelia, and the Bubbles here on the side of Mar. Empath, Cthulhu Font, Andromeda, and Dr. Repulsor are now the bans as well. So, yeah, I don't know. St. Rox didn't necessarily say. Now, they already have a Moira, so I assume that means Deadlift is going to be a kind of a suicide here for them, and that's what I feel. That's from my understanding what he plays is he's a good suicide hero that he can push towers and do plenty of work early on. So we'll see how that performs for him here as the bans are finished up now. Swiftblade and Hellbringer to wrap it up there, and not much extra time. Okay, here we go.
Come on.
Your ideas coming together with the Demented Shaman here.
I mean, I have the Moira as well, so I'm not sure if he's going to benefit too much to the push, but I would love to see another like support-ish hero.
Yeah.
Now, the Hellborn team, though. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say it is worth pointing out. Like Onslaught, it doesn't make it so like the creeps become your creeps. So like a healing wave wouldn't heal those creeps and thus deal more damage to whoever has around them. So there's not like that synergy necessarily, but there is a synergy of course, the Dead Show Rise ability and Demented Shaman able to heal those up. I would assume at least. I'm honestly not 100% sure on that, but I think that's how it works. I don't see why it wouldn't. So there we go with the Luna pick though.
Yeah, they have they picked up the Meraxus straight after the Moira, which obviously is a great counter with that Arc and Shield of his. It's difficult for Mora to get a gank off. And then I have the bubbles versus the prisoner as well. So as far as the laning phase goes, I feel like the Helmut team is in a great spot. But that push off the Legion, I mean, I'm just interested in how they're going to deal with that. They don't have the best counter push so far. They have the Aluna. It does all right, but she needs a little bit of levels. I mean, a level 1 power throw is not going to be dealing anything. And the same goes with Bubble Shell Surf. I mean, he needs level 8, level 9 before he can actually like start counter pushing for real. So Legion team, they definitely got an opportunity to put on a lot of pressure. But here goes Silhouette and a Master of Arms. These carries, they don't feel like they fit the draft that well, in my opinion at least. I guess Master of Arms, I can see a little bit of synergy, but they're just going to deal a lot of lack a lot of physical damage on the Hellborn side. And the Legion team, like, why would you have Silhouette in a push lineup?
Well, it's interesting because, yeah, I was actually thinking the same thing there, and that's what kind of the first thing that really hit me, too, was this is a funky synergy coming out from Ringers. That's what you're getting at, it sounds like, as well, where they got the push with Demented Shaman Deadlift, and then they got, you know, the carry, the, I guess, split push, but not really minion-heavy split push. She's great because she's very mobile, not really a mass team-pushing hero in Silhouette, so there's a little bit awkward. Then you got more of a gank hero, more of an aggressive hero like the Prisoner and the Moira. So there's a lot of pluses there across the board. It's just a matter of, is it enough to all come together and work out here? That's what we're here to find out now. I will say, though, with that Master of Arms pick, you're just talking about the lack of counter push, and, well, that obviously, he's arguably one of the best in the game when it comes to counter push with that goo that he has. So they will now get the extra power of it from that. What is the Hellborn team doing, by the way? Kind of setting up the Ancients over here. I'm a little curious, but I guess they're just setting up to eventually go aggressive here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look at the Hellborn team, though. I mean, they are looking to go for an offensive lineup as well, but I mean, shouldn't they expect that the Legion team are going to push like crazy? Or that they are going to have Deadlift in that suicide roll at least and put a lot of pressure on the tower? Like, they're going to have a freaking Bubbles up here. What's he going to do? I mean, they have Master or a Master of Arms. I assume that the reason for why they picked that up is because they wanted a counter push with that second ability of his.
Now, there's people suggest, again, I don't have a lot of experience myself, enough experience myself to really say for sure, but Deadlift, apparently, it's stupid strong as far as a suicide and as far as pushing the tower. And you figure, especially with the Demented Shaman, it's going to be ridiculous. So maybe the intention here is, like, why even try to contest it early on? Just let them do their thing. Let's get farm elsewhere. Is there maybe that logic?
No, I don't think so. I mean, they are going to destroy this tower if there isn't any help. They're going to have a trouble killing bubbles, though. I mean, that's the only thing going for Hellborn here, because obviously you can take cover the Shards of Harkon relatively easy. But other than that, like, I feel like the tower is just going to drop in a matter of, well, maybe 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. And that's just, then they're going to just continue to the run over to the tier 2 tower. Yeah. And I mean, Ophelia in that case, I mean, he's going to have to rotate over, and I don't know, it's just going to be so... This is going, I don't know, I don't like this from the Hellborn team, this decision to go offensive at all. I mean, are they going to try to push by themselves, or are they like just going to shut down Silhouette? But I mean, Silhouette is going to get gold from the tower kills.
There's also interesting that Deadlift's being played by Slotsky, by the way. We were just talking about how Slotsky's a great prisoner player, and he's on the Deadlift here, but Sandrock's actually playing the prisoner here in that case, so interested to see how that works out as well. But yeah, you talk about the Silhouette here. Yeah, shout out to Different Guy. We had some fun, actually. I had my personal stream on, and we were playing some mid-wars and blitz mode and everything like that, and having a good time with these guys. I gotta say, I personally have become a little bit more of a fan of these Mir Rust guys, especially with hanging out with them, playing some games. So
yeah,
maybe a little bit of bias for them, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, ever since the first time I saw them play a tournament game, I've just been hooked to them because of their aggressive playstyle. I just love watching it. It's always interesting.
Yeah. No, they have been fun to watch for sure, so... In a good spot right now, up 1-0 once again. So we'll see how this Deadlift works. That's really going to be the key to this game. It feels like it's one of those heroes that he's gonna control in the early game. It's just a matter of how you deal with it. Look at the right off the bat. That's another great thing about this hero. The Dead Shall Rise ability. It's actually a pretty solid just nuke. It's like constantly kind of spam it pretty quickly. And again, especially when it was first, it used to require life rather than mana, and that was definitely stronger in the beginning. But they changed it to now it requires mana instead.
But why do they leave? Like, why do the supports leave? Couldn't they just cut down the creep wave here, just pull it into the forest and farm the forest instead?
Well, they're getting the bloodless kills, Nui. That's why they left.
No, they're not.
Maybe
okay,
not.
maybe.
No. That was close. But they do not, so never mind on that.
Yeah, I mean, if you actually think that you can, I mean, obviously that was a nice attempt, but if different guy would have played a little bit more, well, I'm not sure if I should say
Look at this top
smart.
tower. Look at this top. I'm sorry, but look at this top tower. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they put the freaking bubbles. He doesn't have any counter push at all. Like, why do they do this? And I mean, Dementor Shaman, they're not even here. I mean, I guess they just imagine if Dementor Shaman was up here as well.
Okay, I've heard that this hero is ridiculously insane, but this is absurd. The tower's at a third, like it's at a quarter of its life, even less. It's just about dead.
You gotta have heroes that have a lot of stuns, like AoE stuns. Like a Magnus Pyro Monster can do well versus Deadlift, then you can actually shut him down, because obviously he doesn't have an escape, so you can just, kill him when he goes up to the tower. But other than that, like, he is a monster. Like, it's not possible to push, or stop the push with the bubbles, or anything like that.
Bottom lane, there is a little bit of back and forth going on right here. Here comes a tornado from the Vulture Lord. It's not going to be enough, though, at least initially. Aluna will fall, however, they do get the counter on the Demented Shaman, and now going for the 2 kills on a Moira. Shards of Harkon, though, going to scare them off. Not going to be enough. Silhouette is being slowed once again. Doing a good job with that tornado, actually. Some decent damage, some nice slow, but not enough to secure another kill. So it's a 1-for-1, but Bloodlust in favor of Silhouette. No, Demented didn't get it, but still, they got the Bloodlust on the Legion side. But I was just about to say as well, a little surprised that the supports also left, especially when they did, because if they were actually back to the bottom lane, Aluna is going to be killed off. This triple range, it's range versus range, man, and it's pretty crazy as you would expect. And the Legion side is winning it as Ophelia ports back the Vulture Lord to prevent the kill onto it. Interesting. But also pretty smart play in general from Promary. That's all take away from the goal. But the tower it definitely would have been dead by now if they stayed up here for just the very beginning. But he's still going to kill it very quickly. He needs to make sure not to get it denied here, by the way.
I think Slaskadir is going to be able to time it. Or?
Oh! Wow. That was really close.
They had a fortification, though. I mean, Bubbles could have potentially used the fortification, but I guess it wouldn't have made much of a difference.
Yeah.
Nice attempt, at least. It was close to getting it tonight.
Very, very close, but in the end, he's successful with it. So, not many 3-minute tower pushes we're going to see in the competitive on scene. But
especially not if it's 1 versus 1.
Yeah. That's the hero that can do it, though. That is for certain. So, the 2-1 hero kill lead, then tower push already, and thus equals a 1,400 gold lead. That coming up to 4 minutes into the game. As bottom lane, Demented's really trying to get some position here, but good job by Aluna. In fact, actually, Demented's the one that needs to be a little careful.
Oh, look at the top lane, by the way. They're going to go for this Deadlift. He's out of mana, but I don't think they're going to get the kill. He's got a Marchers and Bubbles don't, so maybe?
Those creeps of his, man. He's looking to... Oh, he dodges the cabin. He's going for the kill. Look at the damage. He turns the cabin champion on him with the onslaught. One more auto attack. The minions. They turn around. No, not enough damage. And he will have with 4 life, I'm pretty sure he was at right there. So good try. But he's good against Ophelia. That's, again, they responded with the Ophelia pick. With the Deadlift.
So. Trouble at the bottom.
Uh-oh, Aluna once again, going to get caught out. They collapse on top of her just like before. And again, not much Master of Arms could do right there to save the day. So the supports coming down to the bottom ultimately is proven to be actually a pretty solid decision, of course.
Yeah, they're doing well. At least securing Fibeli some gold. I mean, it's 280 gold a minute. But more important, I mean, he's shutting down Certus, and especially those levels. I mean, if Master of Arms cannot get the levels, then he's not going to be able to counter-push the Deadlift.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Nui. Master of Arms, we actually, when he first got changed, we actually saw a bit of interest in him once again, and teams seemed like they were playing him. Then he just died. We really didn't see him again, and he has been kind of MIA for a little bit. We do see him this game. What do you think of the Master of Arms, and do you think we should start seeing him more? As I say that, he's going to die, of course, but...
I don't think so. I mean, I think he's incredibly weak, actually. Like, I'm probably one of the hero or people that just dislike the hero in general.
Okay.
I mean, he doesn't have... I mean, first of all, the short stun is incredibly easy to disjoint. And there's a lot of heroes like Meraxes, Bubbles, Magnus, for example, that's being played right now. And they can just, simple, like, disjoint it with a Steam Buff or Arcane Shield or whatever, take cover. So in that case, it's very unreliable. And I just feel like it doesn't have a laning present. too much. You can run it in a dual lane in the mid, but it's still relatively weak, has a low health pool. And of course, you can get the Thunder Claw and farm really fast with your passive ability, but I just don't feel like, I mean, if you were to like choose between a Monster of Arms at 400 gold per minute and a Silhouette at 400 gold per minute, I feel like the answer is pretty clear. And I don't even want to start that discussion when compare it with Clanks, for example. I mean, the difference in heroes is just too dominant. I understand the reasoning for why they picked it up, to have it as a counter versus the Deadlift, but they didn't even lane it versus him. So to me, it makes no sense. I mean, he's by no means going to carry his team on his own. Like, he's not that kind of hero. He needs to be active, and he needs to use his ultimate in that case. Like, maybe if you have like a Deadwood on your team that's just snowballing and you just constantly use that Master Calls on him and just speeds up his attack speed, then I could see it as a valuable option, but other than that, no, I don't like the hero at all.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair. Yeah, the Deadwood, the Rally comes to mind. That's kind of synergy there. Yeah, you look at this Hellborn team. There's not a whole lot of aggressive use of the ultimate synergy on this Hellborn side, so good point to be brought up there. I guarantee you, by the way, that was a strap pause, because this Deadlift is just overwhelming this top lane, and they're clearly, they need to try something new here, because this early game's not. Look at Deadlift just holding his ground. He onslaughts Master of Arms right there. Moore's gonna, what can he do? He can't do a damn thing. That onslaught's just too ridiculous. It's already level, oh no, it's level 1. What a minute. I was expecting to be like level 3. And it's level 1, and it's still doing that much work. I guess you level it up, and increases the attack speed. Yeah, so it would be more damage, but this is absurd. There we go with the Death Grip right there. It does land. Mora follows it, and easy kill to follow onto a Luna. So, well, whatever adjustments they try to make right there, clearly not beneficial. As actually Mora, though, the Tornado is going to finish him off. Good Michael, but again, here comes the Death Grip as well, and he gets the kill. Sasuke really showing he knows what he's doing with his Deadlift. However, he may be in trouble finally, as he is trying to do as much as he can to stay alive right here. The minion's going to help. Is he going to get a turn kill? Are you kidding me? No, he's not. He will finally
shoes
fall.
To put in there. Okay, actually, he's going to be able to run out. But yeah, and finally get the raid boss down. Great. And they are, but yeah, the Legion team, I mean, at the same time, they're pushing the bottom tower, and they're probably going to get this tier 1 tower here. So, I mean, I don't think Slaska necessarily cares too much. I just feel like it comes down to inexperience for the Hellborn team. I mean, they're probably just not used to playing versus a Deadlift. Because if they were, I mean, they would have respected it way more than they actually did. I mean, putting a solo bubbles versus it, that's a recipe for disaster.
And I will say, yeah, you could argue he's just new to tournament rules. This is the first event that's been, but at the same time, he's not doing anything different than he would be doing in a TMM game. I mean, this has been knowing that this is his strength. He goes suicide solo, and he can push the tower insane. So, yeah, I agree with you definitely that this Hellborn side, they probably should have been prepared for it, but they clearly were not, and they are feeling it now. This defensive tower middle lane, it's also now in a lot of trouble. Boraxis, he gets pulled in, the onslaught onto him. Now the defensive master's call, the main tracks, there's a lot of mitigation there, or absorption even, but is it going to be enough for him? Nice Kelfield. It's still not enough, though. As a Death Grip lands on a bubbles, it hit him. Thought the take cover might have escaped from it, but it did not. And he goes down right there, and now back to the tower they go. Slosky, you know, it's also, I will say, the couple of deadlifts we've seen, the onslaught use has not really been the most impressive, and I mean that by, as actually the chase continues here, Master of Arms, he's also in trouble. He is going to be able to run away. It's actually now Deadlift taking some tower damage, but he will survive, falling back. Dimension Chum with the heal, and now the Legion team still sticking around, but here comes a TP, and that eventually will scare them off. Will they be able to ultimately run away? Silhouette looks like she is going to get the distance, so Death Grip, no, he's not going to go for it. But making sure the opposition creep wave is around is what I'm noticing that he's doing here. He's not just using it just because he wants to get his minions on them. He's making sure that there's like an opposing creep wave to maximize the damage. And that, I think, is the most important thing for Slosky right now.
Indeed. I know what you mean. We've definitely seen a lot of that. Oh, different Maraxus. Nah, they're not going to be able to get him.
Yeah, you're going to be fine there, but yeah, if this game, though, again, it really goes back to what can the Hellborn team do right now to make some adjustments, and I don't think there's anything really too obvious here. Just somehow get farm a Master of Arms and hope that he's going to be able to carry, but other than that, not a whole lot of routes. Get kills, I guess. Try to get pickups.
Yeah. I mean, the draft in general feels... Oh my god, Master of Arms at the top. He's going to go down.
Maybe? Yes.
The draft for in general or Hellborn feels like complete, like just, I mean, it feels like every single hero was just a counter pick. It doesn't really feel like they have too much synergy together, because it's only like Ophelia that brings any pressure to the towers, but the rest of them, like, they don't really have too much synergy in that. I mean, Moraxis and Bubbles both need to play a little bit careful in the start before they get their pull keys, and the Monster Farms and Aluna feels like they were picked up as a concept only because they wanted to counter push the Deadlift, but at the same time didn't lane towards him. And now when the Astra hits on Deadlift, I just don't see the Hellborn team being able to do anything versus this push. I mean, I guess they could sit in their base and hope for the best, but from experience, I feel like Deadlift doesn't really care if it's a base tower, if it's a tier 1 tower. He does his thing and the tower goes down.
Yeah. You know, it's also I'm finding interesting about the way he's playing it too. Look at his abilities right now. He's level 9. He actually doesn't have his resurrection yet, and I completely get it. As Moira is going to use the Arcane Vortex. Don't think anything's going to happen though with that. Meanwhile, Deadlift is pushing the top tower with Dimension Shaman. It doesn't seem like the Hellborn team. Well, okay, they are rotating over. Do they have a vulnerability? Is kind of the question. Now they do is the answer, and here comes a kelp field. So now they are in some trouble. Dimension Shaman only level 4, can't do really a whole lot right here. Deadlift, he is tanky, but he's not tanky enough to survive 5 heroes on him. And he does fall right there, so they will at least hold that. But in the meantime, middle tower being pushed in, and so is the bottom lane free farming Silhouette. I mean, they used 5 heroes to go up there and stop him. They did, but obviously that means a lot of resources used to do so.
Yeah. It does, but I still think that the Legion team should be able to dominate a little bit more than they actually are at the moment. I mean, after that start that Deadlift had, and like that kind of performance that they had at the top lane is getting those towers so early on, I feel like if they group up and go together, then they should be able to keep up the pressure. Deadlift and, oh, that's a nice hook, but it's not gonna help too much.
Yeah. So the Arcane Shield not going to be activated, though. Good patience from Prisoner. Here comes the Shards of Harkon. He could not Arcane Shield that. Now he's in a little bit of trouble. Deep as the Master's Call, trying to live through it. Ain't going to be enough. And now the chase continues. Ophelia and Master of Farms, they are in a lot of trouble right here. The stun on his Silhouette. The Bubbles jumping with the Song of the Sea, but you see the heals coming out. Actually, that was a swap from Silhouette. So now she's in the background, is fine. And the onslaught onto Aluna right there, the Death Griffin. Not many creeps even nearby, but it still was enough. She is the main support after all. Not too tanky herself, so another kill happening. 13-4 hero kill leader right now in favor of the Legion side. Deadlift still holding his ground. I mean, he has an Astrolabe, bringing the teacher plated creeps at 12 minutes into the game. A big hook right there. Will it be enough to turn some kills? Prisoner, he stays alive. What a heal from Dimension Shaman, keeping him alive. Morax is still going. He bought back, by the way, for this. He does get the kill, but it comes at a cost once again. A 16-5 hero kill lead now. I don't know if Mar really is going to try to stand this much longer. I mean, that was a very, we're just trying to make anything happen kind of play there.
They felt desperate. They just desperately tried to make something happen, try to get some kills. Obviously wouldn't, or the Legion team wouldn't let them. Slasky Dirt is just playing phenomenal on this Deadlift. I mean, you gotta blind ban it next game.
It's just like the first game. Tremble and Grinix, blind ban. Well, now you want to take out Deadlift here. It's going to be some funky bans game 3, man. Tremble, Grinix, Deadlift.
Not often we see those kind of bans.
Yeah.
But you gotta do what you gotta do. Fibel, yeah, 500 gold per minute. Slasky Dead 460. Like, the 2 of them have more gold than the entire Hellborn team at this point.
Oh, Deadlift uses Resurrection last fight. I actually didn't even catch who he used it on. And I wonder if it was successful, but he did get it now. As I mentioned in that at level 9 he didn't have it yet, but gets it at level 10 here. But, yeah, especially at level 1, man, it's a 4-second channel, and then on top of that, they only resurrect at 50% health, so it really isn't that great. But level 3, it's at least, there's a chance it could be pretty useful. But level 1, level 2 even, not that great. Bottom lane,
nope.
Silhouette's fine. She's already got her Nullstone and Ghost Marchers, and very close even to a portal key. And it feels like we're maybe 20 minutes into the game or so. No, we're only 14 minutes in at this point. So 500 plus GPM.
Moira got a portal key on his own now. Panny picks it up here, I would assume, at least.
Moira already has one. Wow. 14 minutes. Silhouette, that's an illusion there. I was thinking it was at least, yeah. Just baiting out, seeing what information he can get. Deadlift in the meantime just goes back to the top lane and pushes it down.
I mean, he's on his own up here as well. Why isn't the Hellborn team rotating over?
They're just sticking together, man. They're so scared. It's like we got to go together whatever we do.
I mean, Sluskator is 100% dead now if the Hellborn team just commits to him, but...
Can you TP out? No. Well, they're going to kind of do that now. It's not everyone here just yet. They're running over, though. And yeah, Deadlift just trying to live as long as possible is really the game plan. But in the meantime, Prisoner picks off a kill, and now he's running in. They do finally kill Deadlift, but Prisoner got Master of Arms in the background, so really a one-for-one trade.
That's the Hellborn carry as well.
And the bottom
less
tower.
than 200 gold per minute.
Yeah,
There's
look
the
at this.
concede vote.
It's like, what do we do? Let's just give up. There's our plan. That was an interesting game, to say the least.
That was a funky game, indeed. Like, that was lost in the draft, more or less. I mean, there wasn't really anything that the Hellborn team could have done to address it.
Other than lane up there. That was
yeah,
the
of
big
course,
thing.
they could have laned it towards it, but they would have still been up versus both the Meta Shaman and the Mora on top of that. And as we saw, like, they picked up the Ophelia straight after the Deadlift. And I mean, he can't really do anything. I mean, as we saw there in the start as well, when he was trying to go in for a gank there on the solo Deadlift with the bubbles, like, Deadlift just turned it around. He just almost got a return kill on Ophelia instead. So, yeah, picking up that Ophelia straight after the Deadlift, that was questionable. And then, yeah, the laning phase